What's going on, guys? So I'm going to do things a little bit different this time around. I'm going to do my reviews while actually sitting here with the book itself, and we're just going to go through page by page. Today we are going to do Project Naosis Episode 2. So I am working with the volume and not the individual comic, because I figure if I'm going to mess something up, this would be the thing to do. So hopefully all goes well. So I'm just going to get right on into it. So, alright. We pick up where we left off. We have Omega over here. He is kind of mulling things over about what happened in the previous issue where he got that picture from Thorn and saw that we have a bunch of team from like Project Naosis beforehand, and we saw Rifter and Crimson Pain were part of it, and he's just trying to make sense of it all. He's trying to figure out what the hell is all that about. And so he decides that he is no longer going to play a part in this any longer. He's going to kind of be a man of his own destiny. And it's going to kind of play nice for now, but we'll see what happens later in the future. You know, he's like, and until I can kind of figure out what the ULN is doing, I'm just going to lay low, play nice, but kind of do things my own way as well. And we'll go from there. So then we cut over to part of the team. We have Lithium, Thorn, and Hellkate, all just kind of looking to take on the Cross Crusaders, a new group outside of the Pain Patriots. But they look to be working with one another. And they're just sitting there chit-chatting. Lithium kind of wants to play it by the books. Thorn's like, yeah, dude, you're full of shit. I know you and Hellkate have been seeing each other, so why play it by the books now when you guys clearly aren't, because that's against our rules. Lithium goes ahead and avoids the conversation here by jumping down, and Thorn calls him on his bullshit. So we get a quick glimpse on these Crimson Crusaders, and we see that they get a jump on them. Lithium says, hey, you guys go after those bombs that these guys have. I'm going to take out this guy here. And so he does. He goes over, fucks the dude up, punches him square in the face, and, you know, he's done. He's done so. Hard to see him coming back from that one. Thorn goes ahead. He secures his bomb. Hellkate's on one as well. Although she finds out, hey, it's active, and we are led to believe that she blows up. But I have more on that one later. So now we're going to catch up with Crimson Pain. He goes over to that jungle from the previous issue where the big battle took place with like Rifter and the rest of the team from Project Naosis. And we get a good little insight here. You see here on the second page, he's holding the remains of Rifter's body, and he's saddened by this. And I'll speak more on this one later, but I do like that Crimson Pain does care about the members of his team. And then right here, we notice somebody else is grabbing his attention. And I have a theory on that one later, and I will discuss that one as we get to that point. All right, so now we're catching up with Valerie Vega. She gets a call from the president to go on her own mission and to leave Omega out of it, even though Omega isn't a big fan of this. The president says, hey, you know, he's got enough going on. You're qualified to lead your own missions, and it's about time you start. So she goes over, grabs Hybrid over here, who's just training with his super awesome gun, and let me see if I can remember the name of that. The Wrath of Hades, which is a fucking badass name. I do like the name of that gun. That's pretty sweet. And he makes it a point to say, okay, you know, is Omega going to be joining us? And she lies and says, yeah, no, he's cool with us just doing our own thing. He thinks it's going to be a quick in and out mission, and we can handle this one. Of course, Omega is like not about that life, and we see that he gets the notification that they're taking an aircraft carrier out, and that kind of pisses him off. He's like, why is somebody leaving when I have not authorized this? He likes to be the guy in control. He's the leader. And so he's not a fan of this. So we see Valerie and Hybrid on their way to the mission, and they're just kind of doing a little bit of recon and decide, okay, time to take a little bit of action. They land on the truck of these of the Crusaders, for which there is a thud known, but the guys are just like, fuck it, we're already run behind. Let's go ahead and just get on our way, because I don't want to piss off who we're meeting up with. So they go over, they're meeting up, they're just doing their recon work, and we see Vantage here, as we're soon to find out his name, is lurking in the dark. Now, he's the one supplying the Crusaders with the weapons and armor and all that. And he gets a little testy here, as we see right here. He doesn't like being questioned, ends up pretty much killing this Crusader here. Now, I have more on this one later as well. So, this is when Vega decides she's going to jump into action, as well as Hybrid. So, they're both taken on, and we get a little bit of a preview as to what Vantage is capable of. And we're seeing like some sort of dark energy being shot out. It looks really fucking cool. And yeah, he's fucking shit up. Big fight ensues. Hybrid's gonna turn his shit up to full blast. Smacks him dead on. He's like, okay, no way is he gonna survive that. There's no way. Until he does. And Hybrid's now like, oh, dude, yeah, Vega, go ahead and call for backup. We're in a big trouble right now. So, Vantage smacks them both. They get split up a little bit. Vega gets tossed away from the battlefield. Hybrid's kind of pinned underneath a bunch of rubble. And so Vantage is now taking it out on him. Now, this is okay for at least a little bit, since Hybrid's got that healing factor. But how long can it endure and last? We'll find out. So, now Valerie, she's in her own head. She's like, I got to step in. I'm just a human, though. What can I do? I don't have any abilities. But she says, fuck it, I got to help him out. There's no way that he can survive this. So she decides she's going to step in and take on. And as you see, that is the end of episode 2. So, a couple things I want to just kind of highlight here. If I can do this while crossing my arms. All right, so some of the subplots and theories that I have on this one. Hellcate's not dead. No fucking way. Now, I do know the answer to this, and spoilers, yeah, no, she lives. And I knew right away, I'm like, no, you're not getting me that easy, because I didn't see her die. And it's just one of those things, if you don't see them die, they didn't die. So I do already know that, yes, she lives. We do see that very quickly in the next issue, so it's not that big of a spoiler there. Also, as far as who reached out to Crimson Pain, and now again, I already know the answer to this now too, because I've read the issue, but I kind of figured it was Banshee, because we saw Rifter's body, we didn't see Banshee, and I didn't think that they would make it a point to kind of show us, oh, some random soldier died. We knew Banshee was the other character that was also there working for Crimson Pain. So, yes, that was in fact Banshee. That was my my theory on that one. But I did have that as soon as I read this. I'm like, that's probably who that was. Because again, if you didn't flat out see him die, even though Banshee got fucked up, she got fucked up real bad in that one, but I didn't see her die, so yeah, I figured as much. So some things I just want to highlight a little bit here is that, as I was saying here, going back a few pages, Crimson Pain, I like that he is even though he's a villain, he loves his team, and that much I do appreciate. So when we come over here, you know, he's saddened by the loss of one of his team members. That makes me go, that I can believe that people would want to follow him. He's not just being a dick and willing to kill all of his team. That irks me a little bit. We then get that in contrast. I'll bring up a little bit later with Vantage. Let me just go ahead and get myself set there. But we'll see that Vantage will just straight up kill. And that's a little lame. I'm a little bit more forgiving just because they are kind of two different teams. And so he felt disrespected by, these Crusaders. Whereas he's more of the Pain Patriots. And he wasn't tolerating that. But it also, seeing that kind of shit makes me go, why would anybody follow you? Why would anybody want to be like, yeah, you might kill me at a moment's notice. Totally going to follow you. So seeing Crimson Pain, feel the way that he does, has that passion, and then treats all of like those who follow him, he's so saddened by the loss of them. He calls them brother or sister. It's like a family to him. So he really feels it when they're lost, and he feels angry about it. I can totally buy in that people would follow him, that he would have this level of following behind him. Not only just with passion, but also fear, of course, because people have seen what he is capable of by this point. I also like that the teams get split up. Now, yeah, we get Vega and Hybrid, who did it outside of Omega's awareness. He doesn't give them the okay to do that. But he did give Hellkate, Lithium, and Thorn, he sent them on the mission, because not every mission requires the entire team. And so we get to focus a little bit with this small group and see what they're all capable of. And I like that. That gives us a little bit more to learn about them. And I very much like that. Now, I do have a couple little tisms. Again, I wasn't the biggest fan of Vantage just up and killing one of the people. It was just kind of a dick move, and she didn't really say anything that was too offensive, but man, he fucking took it to another level. He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna make this? Okay, fine, fuck you. Dead. And why? But before that, so Vega and Hybrid, they land on the truck, they make a thud, and it's made known. These two here, and I know you can't read the text, but they're discussing that thud, and they're like, never mind. Now, might be forgiven because maybe it's not as well established that there is Project Naosis out there. But still, the kind of operation you're running, you hear a thud like that, and you might want to just investigate it just a touch, just to make sure nothing's wrong. Just seemed, I don't know, a little sloppy there. But that's really about it. So, overall, let me just go ahead and close this. Overall, the score I want to give this one is a 9 out of 10. Like, this is pretty fucking good. I think the action is extremely good. You got to see pretty much every page here. Lots of blood, lots of gore. And I found it very engaging. So we get to see the fallout from the previous. We saw Crimson Pain getting really pissed off, and he was both sad and pissed all at once. And we also know that, like, Vega's decision to keep everything away from Omega and Lion to Hybrid, that's definitely going to have some fallout too. And I don't feel like any of these characters are safe. Now I have my theories as to who I feel is probably going to be one of the next ones to die, or I guess the first one to die. I think it's going to be either between Omega or Lithium, the two brothers. One of them I definitely see dying. Now I could see Lithium being one that dies, the younger brother, and especially when we have it established that Omega's kind of he's not as sure about what's going on with the ULN, that he thought he was so sure that they were the good guys and that they were doing things good, and his faith in them is definitely shaken. And I could see Lithium dying and just kind of pushing Omega right up over that edge. And I could also see Omega dying and then Lithium stepping into that leader role. Like, either of those options I could definitely see being an outcome. Because we do see Lithium getting some of that leadership stuff. In fact, in that rooftop meeting with Thorn, I believe Thorn referenced him as like leader boy or something like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's also what happens. So I don't feel like any of these characters are safe whatsoever. I could even see somebody like Hybrid who has healing abilities. I could see them dying. So we saw Prince Euro. He damn near died in the previous issue. He got all mangled up. So definitely a lot to enjoy about this, and that's why I want to give it the 9 out of 10. This is a fantastic book. A few tisms, but I really find that they're very little as far as what it contributes to the overall story. It's just little nitpicks mostly. So I would definitely call this more of your mature teen to adult rating. I think most teens can handle this just fine. And I would say, those who like things brutal, like in the Mortal Kombat realm and shit like that, this is probably going to be right up your alley, so definitely worth checking out. But that is all I have for today, guys. So until next time, take care and God bless.